Welcome inside the David Bray Athletics and Recreation Center on Mohawk College campus for tonight's action between the St. Clair Saints and the Mohawk Mountaineers men's basketball teams, where the Mohawk Mountaineers will try to snap a 7-game losing streak that has kind of taken over the middle of their season. I'm Nick Birnie. Alongside me is Christine Midgley. The rest of the cast and crew, you will get to see some of their camera angles and shots as we move forward in this game. But first, we want to talk about the game itself and bring you in with a little bit of, well, what we think will happen or take place in tonight or be key factors. And for the Mohawk Mountaineers, Christine, what's one of the things that we should be looking for in tonight's game?
For the Mountaineers, you're going to be looking for that intensity. And I talked to Coach Jung before the game. You guys saw it on Tuesday's game. They fought hard. Didn't quite pull it off against Sheridan, but he said as long as you're seeing that kind of energy, that kind of enthusiasm, they can really stand a chance in tonight's game.
So that will be one of the keys for the Mohawk Mountaineers in tonight's game. But right now, as the game gets set to start, we'll take you to the starting lineups. And for the hometown Mountaineers, we have point guard Jordan Martin, number 4, Kareem Collins, the veteran, number 12, Jalen Bailey, number 15, Jesse Broad, 22, and Lamar Brar, the veteran, number 32, rounding out the starting 5. For the road side and the visiting St. Clair Saints, we have William Lara Craston, number 1, Charles Baskin, number 2, Jawan Lynch, number 5, Andres Bravo, number 14, and Lance Drummonds, number 23. So get set for a terrific night of men's basketball action here from the David Bray Athletics and Recreation Center as the tip-off is about to begin between the Mountaineers and Saints here live on Emily.
Let's head on over to the game.
Jesse Broad will take the tip against, as just mentioned, Drummonds. Lance Drummonds, 6'2", Hamilton, Ontario native, and he won the tip.
But Lamar Barr threw the ball out to the sidelines.
Well, he won it right at Lamar. It was the wrong guy, and Lamar maybe was in shock that it went to him because it came from the wrong guy. And the ball was knocked out of bounds, so St. Clair will start now with an inbounds. Basket starts working on Collins, moving from left to right. In green are the Saints, from right to left. In white are the hometown Mountaineers, as mentioned, trying to snap a 7-game losing skid. And the first chance of the game, Baskin comes up short. Ball tipped loose, though. Saints get it back down inside, and Drummonds puts it away. Excuse me, it was actually Bravo who ended up taking that tip, who's number 14. Drummonds is 23. Yep. Bailey outside to Broad. The open shot, no good.
A little wide.
Bailey will get another opportunity off the offensive board, and his pops off rim.
They've got
Mountaineers staying with it, but that ball dribbled off of legs, kept in bounds by Baskin. What a play. Now Lara Caston moving forward. Picks up his dribble. Finds Drummonds. Open shot. Excuse me, it wasn't Drummonds, was Jawan Lynch.
Great in the basket there.
So Lynch drills it, and it's an early, quick 5-0 start. Saints ahead. Martin cutting through. What a finish by the bigger Bravo. And what we're going to have here is early on, we're seeing a timeout from the Mohawk, or excuse me, not from the Mohawk Mountaineers. It seemed like the referee had pointed at Mohawk's bench when he called the timeout.
It was from St. Clair, though.
It was from St. Clair. Even Coach Jonker had to look at the referee and go, why are you pointing at me? I didn't call anything.
He wasn't quite sure what was going on.
So he was about as much confused as we are, but early on, a quick timeout call by the St. Clair offense. They want to slow things down. Obviously, they saw something defensive they didn't like there from those missed opportunities, but those secondary chances. But as we look at this game, like you brought up, the Mountaineers trying to snap a losing streak, and Coach Jonker has said that there's a few things that he would like to see different from last game?
Yeah, so when he was in practice this week, Coach Jonker was really worried about his team breaking pressure. He was worried about the weak defense. He saw a lot of rebounds that weren't being picked up by the Mountaineers. And on terms of the offensive side, he's worried about the perimeter shots. He really wants to see more of those and stronger. So it'll be really interesting to see if the guys have picked up any of those tips this week and whether they can implement them in tonight's game.
Well, the Mountaineers will start as they usually do, regardless women or men's. They have a full court press on from the opening of the game. This one broken in about 2 seconds, but Bravo missed an easy lay-in. Offensive board, luckily, by Lynch. St. Clair able to draw the foul down low under the basket. Going up was Lynch, and he'll go to the line, I believe. If not, actually, they're going to...
See, I'm not really sure how Bravo could miss that shot. His arm pretty much reaches all the way to the basket.
I was going to say, it looked like he could dunk. And there's been so much confusion in the early of this one. Not even Lynch knew he was going to the line while he was standing under the basket waiting to get handed the ball for an inbounds. So Lynch at the line for 2. First trip for either side, and unfortunately for Lynch, that just would not go down, no matter what kind of effort he put into that.
Hey, but he gets that second one. Got Martin bringing the ball up, looking for somewhere to go.
Martin, one of the best dribblers on the team. Great handles from such a young player. Here's Bailey at the top, spots up a 3 and drills it. And Mohawk, as they often do, live and die from beyond the arc. Early on, they're living down just a point. Craston inside Bravo, better pass to Drummond, wide open. And Drummond's with one of the easier buckets.
You got up to Bailey, looking for somewhere to go. Hits Lamar Barr.
Barr trying to follow up the play here. Now handing off right side. Broad tried to cut through, did not get to the rim. Baskin on the loose ball, carrying it forward quickly. Lynch an open look, well short on the 3. Collins the other way now with speed. Collins, drop off. Bailey makes a little move to his left with a dribble and drills the open shot. He's feeling it.
Little celebration there, well deserved.
Oh, just a slightly, no. Love it when he gets excited. Gave a little look back to the bench like, it's on.
Was that what that was?
I don't know. I have to ask him, though. I want to clarify that. I don't want to put words in his mouth. Bravo doesn't get the quick jumper to go. Martin underneath battling with 2 St. Clair players. Unfortunately, they're able to force it off him and out of bounds and retain possession. An early 8-8 tie between the Saints and Mountaineers. Saints have won their last couple games here, but at the same time, and I don't mean, here in Mohawk, I mean overall in their OCAA season, but have barely pulled them out. And they're actually more trying to fight to cruise towards 500 and get themselves in a playoff position. The Mountaineers are just trying to snap themselves out of a huge funk.
Well, that being said, I talked to Coach Jonker about morale in terms of players who played on last year's team, which was a very winning team. And he said that even the return players know if they win 2 out of 3 the next games,
as there's Collins,
with some points like that,
little finish.
If they win 2 or 3 out of the games, they can still go into those playoffs. They could still hit nationals. At least that's the mindset that his team has.
And that's the mindset they have to carry into games like this, or else they're not really going to be able to pull together, you would think, as Martin unable to keep that in bounds. The effort needed to win a game like this, or a couple of games, as they need to do.
Yeah, despite having that losing streak, dream big. And as he said, it was a very hard-fought game against Sheridan on Tuesday. And if they have that kind of energy again today, who knows what could happen.
There's a steal at the top between Bailey and Broad. One of them had to take it off the St. Clair offensive playmaker, Crafton. Now the other way, Martin an open 3, drills it.
Hey, that's your guy. We know you like some Jordan Martin.
Jordy Martin. From way beyond, Mohawk responding early after the Saints were the ones who put the first 5 on the board. Mohawk has bounced back. Collins with a block. Felt like he got all ball. Referee makes the call. He's going to say a hold on the arm.
Mohawk bench, they did not like that call.
No, Coach Jonker did not, and has a pretty good argument. I'd imagine he had a pretty solid view being that close.
Well, the entire team looked like they were up in arms about that one.
Referee, though, deciding early that if it's close to, he'll make that call. Baskin unable to hit the first from the line. Charles Baskin, a Detroit, Michigan native, one of 3 players on the team outside of the country or internationals. Baskin also in his 5th and most likely will be one of his final years with the St. Clair Saints. Also his 5th and final year of eligibility in the OCAA as he's substituted now off for Jermaine Lynch. Brother, I believe, but we want to check that and probably double check that.
Well, I mean,
Jawan Lynch.
They both come from Windsor. I think it's a pretty safe bet.
I think there's more than 2 Lynches in Windsor. But aside from that, I'm sure Midgley's right. And just like that, Jalen Bailey goes, I know I'm right when I shoot threes, and he does it again. So Mohawk now improving the lead to 7. St. Clair's got to find themselves here. And oh, a strip. But unfortunately, Barr just couldn't stay in bounds while he made the pass to try and move things forward onto the offensive end. 6:13 to go. We're very early on in the first quarter, but the Mountaineers are feeling it offensively. And they're starting to work things a little better and tighter defensively, and it's forced a turnover.
Tosses that right
pass
into the crowd.
Gil Atencio, one of the 2 players along with Bravo who are from Panama City, Panama. Now, I don't think you'd ever think, how do you get 2 guys from Panama?
That's a bit of a trek.
In the OCAA, but an incredible flavor of international. Well, sorry, I should have said incredible touch of international flavor.
We're just holding up while we do some little shoe tying here, but the game isn't back on.
And speaking of shoe tying, from Gil Atencio, who just wanted to grab a little Atencio to him. Martin, off the pass from Barr, looks at the corner. Bailey wants it, feels it, got it!
It
4
is Bailey's
for 4.
game.
I think he ran faster back on D than he needed to, but he's just excited.
He's pumped up, and that's what he needs. Just keep it going throughout the game.
19-9. Take another look at that Bailey finish. Nice little loop pass. He had a man right in his face, was Atencio. And he still drilled it. Down low. Drummond's got a chance after battling.
Mountaineers not letting him in.
And they definitely did not let him in with ease. Martin in the corner, thought about it, drives the hoop. Great feed, open look. Sabaya didn't get it. That would have been a dagger in the early going. Mountaineers still ahead 10 though. Great little dribble attempt there from Jermaine Lynch. And Jermaine had to go right off his foot out of bounds, though, as he couldn't cut by. And I will say, Jermaine does happen to look like Jawan, so maybe there is some family resemblance there. But then again, I happen to look like a lot of people tell me, and they're all not my family.
Apparently.
Collins to Barr. Thought about it. Great pass. At least he tried to make a great pass down low to his cutting teammate. But a greater defensive play by Lynch there to follow it up. Got his hand on it. And now substitutions. A Chanwa and Elcock coming into the game. Matt Elcock, a person we highlighted against Sheridan, but we didn't get to actually see play, unfortunately, due to the fact that Elcock was simply on the bench and we didn't know if he was injured or not, but he is back tonight. So we do know he's available here.
And he's the guy to watch. He has had time after time in these games. As a rookie, he has put up tons of points on the board. Lamar fighting.
And somehow Barr got it to Sabaya. It hit the rim, so it counts. Keeps possession, and the Mountaineers win possession off the tip. Although the referees will chat, it looks like maybe they're going to change the call as the other referee quickly lets him know, no, that was last touch by Collins. So St. Clair will escape without allowing this lead to expand or the Mountaineers to hit the 20-point mark just yet, but they've already exploded at 19, and we're just past the halfway point of the first quarter. So after a game in the women's just prior to this, where offense came in very little.
We have 5 seconds left on the shot clock. We'll see if he can make it to the basket.
And a shot by Lynch that's just awful. I don't even think that came within 5 feet of the basket. He was well out of balance.
He wasn't even on 1 foot when he shot it.
I just don't know if he really meant to shoot it or it was a pass. But like I was saying, after
whatever it was, it didn't work.
Well, clearly not. But after finding it so hard to score in the women's game for either side, and there was almost no ability to find a flurry of scoring to the end for the Mountaineers, this game starts and the hometown Mountaineers are firing on all cylinders. Sabaya underneath, now kicks it out. 3, doesn't go there from Barr. Off the fingertips of Atencio, although right beside him was teammate Nick Vigley, and both of them couldn't grip it. So 14 on the clock, Mountaineers still in possession. Collins trying to go far back. Lynch, though, great job of stealing it.
Lamar Barr is the only person at the back to stop.
And he does a great job of forcing Drummonds to go out of his way on the layup, and he missed it. Collins, nice attempted pass off the leg of the defender and out of bounds, though. And we'll get a stoppage in play. Jalen Bailey's coming right back out for Barr, and we're going to see Baskin coming right back onto the court for St. Clair. And to take a break will be Lara Caston. Elcock off the screen, gets an open look and drills it.
There he is. That's what we missed on Tuesday.
And we definitely could have used a few of those on Tuesday. Could have been the difference in the game between the Bruins and the Mountaineers, but Elcock trying to use it here tonight against the Saints. There's an open look for Vegley, and he could not get it. Baskin battling with Collins. The call made. Unfortunately, Collins just stepping on the out-of-bounds marker as he touched that one, trying to keep it in bounds. So Vegley will inbounds. Fires one over to Lynch. Germain to brother Jawan. He decides he's got enough space, pops the open three, does not get it to go. Collins with the defensive board and will work his way forward to Elcock. Thought about the quick three. Drives into Lynch, and we're going to see the offensive foul as the loose hand or extra arm push of Elcock has actually truly hurt now.
He's
what
down.
It looks like Jawan Lynch, who took one right in the chest/shoulder, and I do not believe
the trainer's
he's
going
in
out.
enough. Yeah, I don't believe he's actually going to be able to continue, at least for now. He's actually going to have to come off, and Laura Caston is going to come right back on for St. Clair. Jawan Lynch taking just a hard knock with the open arm of Elcock, shoulder to shoulder. And I mean, that could be an injury that we don't know the St. Clair Saints as well as we probably should, but then again, us being Mohawk Mountaineer broadcast here, might be an older injury that has come back here to haunt Jawan Lynch.
Yeah, you never know. With athletes, it happens a lot. But he is still holding his shoulder while the trainer looks at him. So we'll keep you posted on that.
Vegley to inbounds. Baskin gets it over to Lynch. Jawan's brother Jermaine still on the court. Baskin turning under pressure, looks across court. Laura Caston driving against Bailey. Looking across the way, shot has to come from Lynch, and it does not hit the anything but backboard. And Baskin steps up on Collins much too late to try and draw the charge foul. Clear blocking call.
Bowls him over.
I mean, Kareem a bigger guy, but that's also what we were talking about in the last game. A lot of lack of calls went the way of the Mountaineers against Sheridan. I was even talking to the St. Clair coaches who, in a funny way, defended how angry I was about the last game during the broadcast and how awful the refereeing was. They said it was probably the most realistic broadcast they had gotten, and opinion-wise, they were more than in agreement with it, which is surprising. So they're looking for it tonight. Oh my! Well, Gil Atencio got up quick and he said, "Watch me fly."
He wanted to give you something to talk about.
Well, Panama City says, "Hello, Canada." And Jalen Bailey tried to respond, but could not.
Let's take a look at that shot.
We have to take another look. Gil Atencio, thank God Matt Elcock got out of the way, because goodness, on the way down, that ball was hammered through the net.
There was no stopping him there.
Baskin off to Lynch. Lynch with a move into the middle, and Lynch with a floater that drops, and suddenly St. Clair have quieted the crowd. They've put a halt to the momentum of the Mohawk offense, and they're chipping away at this lead. It's down to 9. Elcock, nice little up fake on Vegley. Drives, doesn't get it to go, though. Atencio almost lost the board, but picks it up. Finding Lynch. He tries the outlet. Laura Caston catches it, shoots a quick three, almost got it. Didn't crawl over the rim, though. Martin. And he's fouled from behind by Lynch. So the referee's right on that one. There's the reach-in foul. And they've been pretty solid in this one thus far, making the right calls. It's been a pretty open first quarter, excuse me. Feels like the scoring of the entire first half of the last game, which is why you look up at the scoreboard, you wonder, how did we get this many points in the first quarter alone? There's still 2 minutes to play.
This game has been way more exciting already. You can tell by the crowd's reaction, by our reaction, your voice alone, the crowd knows it's a game to watch.
And it's been a much more improved effort offensively in terms of field goal percentage for both teams, shooting a lot better than in the women's game. And there's a beautiful prior opportunity missed before by Lynch. It's probably his third or fourth open look from 3, and he finally gets one to fall, but that one cuts it all the way down to 6, and Jonker says that's enough. Timeout, Mountaineers.
Now, as we said, we just saw St. Clair come alive in those last couple minutes. So, as you said, Jonker's probably thinking it's time to regroup his team, reassemble, figure out what's going on, because these guys are coming to play.
And the Mountaineers, after starting off hot from beyond the arc, I've seen this a couple times this year. They send themselves a little bit too often now to that area, to shoot that long-range three, or to shoot the more outside shot. And I'm surprised by that, especially when they get a lead, that they're not instead going for the easier baskets, because oftentimes teams, when they get down, tend to run out at you more often for that shot and allows those drive-bys. And we saw Matt Elcock take advantage, almost making it but missing the layup on that last opportunity. But it's things like that that I would wish sometimes in a game like this, the Mountaineers would look inside more often.
Well, and that's what one of the things was that Jonathan talked about. He said he was worried about those perimeter shots because, as you said, I mean, they're nice, they're fancy, but the actual percentage of getting them in, it's not great. So they need to go for those straight-up easier shots. Otherwise, I mean, I said it could be anybody's game. Look at the score.
And right now, minute 46 remains in the first quarter of action. 22-16, the Mountaineers hold a 6-point advantage as we're coming to the end of the first stanza. Broad gets the give and go back, set his feet, didn't shoot though. Bailey now peels off a man, finds Elcock. He had to catch and go up to then go down and get
Beautiful.
right back up
that
and
was
hit
a
it.
really solid shot from Elcock.
Enough said about that. Goodness. Quite an amazing job by jumping up to catch it and then getting down, getting right back up to shoot it.
You just have to plant your feet and go. We've got Martin coming up, 3-on-1.
Speed. Wow.
There you go, again.
Jordan Martin, just a little runner in the lane, and now the Mountaineers have awoken since the final timeout, but Craston drills a three. So suddenly, the Mountaineers had expanded the lead to above double digits.
Only 50 seconds left in this quarter.
Nice response from the Saints. Elcock swatted away twice. I think that got hit twice in the air, Brian Tencio. Holy moly, he's got some hops. Basking through. Rejected by the rim.
He tried for the dunk. It just didn't happen.
I don't even know if he really wanted the dunk, but he tried his best to get it to fall through. It could not. And Elcock again. If it's not Bailey, it's Matt Elcock, and there's nothing the Saints can do right now. They're red hot from beyond the arc. Lynch. Jermaine trips over his own feet out of bounds. Pretty clear. Good call by the referee. 20.9 left on the clock. And the Saints have turned it over, and the Mountaineers have turned it up a notch in this final 2 minutes since that timeout, Christine.
Yeah, we are looking at 30 points for Mohawk, 19 for St. Clair. As you said, shot clock has been turned off. There is less than 13 seconds left in this game, or in the quarter, not the game.
Well, the Mountaineers would love if it was the end of the game already, but pretty early on still. Martin trying to bring this quarter in with some points. Elcock turns, got it again!
How does he make it look that easy?
Well, maybe they should give him more days off in between games, more games off on occasion.
There you go, he can just play every other game. It'll work
Matty
out well
Elcock
for him.
is looking dangerous, and so are the Mohawk Mountaineers.
Well,
32-19, they lead through one quarter play. And Christine, what is obviously the key to the offense?
Well, you know what? We've talked about Elcock, but in the spirit of Valentine's Day, we're going to throw it to your man crush, Jordan Martin. He's one of your favorite players. You get so excited when he's on. Tell me about him.
Well, Jordan Martin, 9.9 points per game right now, 41.7 field goal percentage shooter. Not the greatest from beyond the arc at 27% right now, but in the last game he broke out 18 points against the Bruins, and I think it's now becoming, with the more opportunities he's had and less players on the team, more of an opportunity that Martin can actually shine a little bit.
Absolutely.
Than being the extra guy.
He is one of those first-year players. So for him to get that extra time on the court, I think we're really seeing him come into his own. As you said, that last game, shooting 18 points, which compared to his average of 9 point whatever it was, it's a big jump for him. So I think we're going to see a lot more from him in the future.
And Jordan Martin, since the second half has started, after averaging about 4 or 5 points in the first half of the season because of, as we mentioned, limited time, Martin has really picked it up. Like you said, he's already boosted the average a full 4 or 5 points per game in just 4 games. So give a lot of credit to Martin. And we'll look at the replay of the first quarter highlights now and what's happened between the Saints and Mountaineers, which was a pretty offensive quarter, as we mentioned multiple times. 32-19, the Mountaineers ahead, and it's because of their attack from outside. As you look at the stats in the first quarter, 3-point percentage, 61.5%. I know they're shooting over 50% from the field, but if you shoot from over 60% from beyond the arc, Christine, you're bound to have success.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like we got some guys walking back onto the court. They're ready to go. 10 seconds until this game starts back up.
And one thing I do want to point out, I mentioned it to Nick Sahami, who was part of the broadcast last game against the Sheridan Bruins. We've had a few different people join the broadcast over the last few weeks to cover. What I noticed was that I had said to Nick, there's really never been a whole lot of dunks this year, and that was something that was surprising to me. Well, thank you personally, Gil Atencio, for grabbing my Atencio tonight.
Oh,
you have
no, that was
full
bad.
100% Atencio now.
Stop.
Of me.
No more.
I hope he dunks a few more
Let's get back to this game now.
Baskin driving.
See, he just wanted to shut you up.
I highly doubt that. He would love to keep me going. Martin running down the court. Hand off to Collins, a long-range triple coming from Kareem, and he's not able to get it to go, and Atencio is the one who grabs the board. On the court for the St. Clair Saints, Alex Sagan also joining, number 8. I'm sure he has no relation to Tyler Sagan, so if you're asking his brother how he's doing in Dallas, he probably doesn't know. Gil Atencio driving, but great defense. Unfortunately, a hand-on-hand combat inside, and the foul will go against Lamar Barr, number 32 of the Mountaineers, and Atencio will go to the line, shooting 2. Mountaineers up big early. Haven't had leads like this pretty much all season, so this is a unique position to be in, especially when you're on a 7-game losing streak. Not many times during a 7-game losing streak are you up in those 7 games and blowing leads. And unfortunately for the Mountaineers, they haven't really actually blown a lead in any game to lose it. They've just never really had any leads. And like the Sheridan game where they were behind every step of the way from the first seconds of the game where they gave up the first score, this one, the exact opposite kind of feel.
But you know what? That's the kind of game they need right now to get them revitalized, get some points. Because you know what? If they turn this around, you never know what could happen in the upcoming games. Get that motivation going.
And like you said, they need to win out. Could get them in the playoffs. Their year might not be done, even if their record is under 500. In that shot, a big three-pointer from St. Clair coming from the side angle. Mountaineers deficit cut under 10. And all of a sudden, it's kind of disappeared a bit after being 13 to start the quarter. The first 7 points scored by St. Clair. Collins works on basket into the middle. Nice try, but he couldn't get it to go. Another board for Atencio, and Baskin works forward. Baskin going to his left and now slowing things down, wants to allow his team to catch up. Sagan thought about a catch and shoot. Delivers it back to Baskin. Now, Drummond. Laura Caston.
5 seconds on the
Sagan.
Shot clock.
He has to get it off. Caston could take the pass, but Martin had it kick off his foot. Well, they have 1.7 seconds left on the shot clock. So St. Clair would have to inbound it at the speed of light and get a quick shot off here.
We got Bravo coming into the game.
And he will sub in for Atencio.
I feel like we need to put in a public apology to Atencio for Nick's terrible puns. I apologize.
I don't think so at all. His name's Atencio. It sounds like attention. It's pretty fair. There's an open 3 missed by Baskin that he had no chance of making, as you had, man, draped all over him. Lamar Barr going into the middle, lost the ball on the way up, but he will get the foul call, albeit the Saints can't believe it. They thought he was out of control as he went up for the attempted lay-in. St. Clair, though, has come out with a much better start to the second quarter than the Mountaineers, who have looked a little bit shied away from the game almost after exploding in the first quarter from beyond the arc. And, of course, Matt Elcock and Jalen Bailey have not been seen on the court just yet a whole lot.
Well,
Jalen is on the court, but not exactly heard of in the second quarter yet.
Bailey's currently having a conversation with one of the refs, so.
Probably the most he's done thus far in this quarter. And I mean, what I would do is, if I was the Mountaineers, I'd like to get the ball to Bailey and Elcock, considering how good they've been early on. I would like to think they were the 2 guys you'd want to keep going back to in this game. Baskin and Broad, pretty unhappy more with himself, I think, that he just got caught up in the feet of Baskin and draws the call against himself there. Jesse, as we mentioned multiple times in the second semester, has had to take over the center position when realistically he's played small forward and shooting guard and other positions that are smaller in the year and a half that he's been with Mohawk up to this point.
That's what happens when you have a new team with a very shallow bench. You don't have those players, people are going to have to sub in.
And Drummond's with a nice, easy finish down low. And that shows there, Mountaineers not with a lot of size underneath the basket, and it can cost them that way. Broad, Martin working on Sagan. Martin, kick out, Barr cuts in the middle, tries a little pull-up 2, does not get it to go. The air ball bounds away, And St. Clair are really bringing it now. The lead is 5, and Brian Jonker will make a substitution, which is interesting enough, Elcock for Bailey.
Well, as you said, Bailey really didn't do a lot in the couple minutes that he was on the court, so maybe Elcock will make more of an impact.
We'll see if bringing on Elcock can keep his hot hand going. Both him and Bailey were red hot in the first quarter from beyond the arc, hitting 3 three-pointers apiece each. Sagan pulls up for an open 3, but it's just a little strong. Had a good look. Collins to Elcock. Elcock from way out. Got it! Wow!
And that's why Jonker put him back in the game.
What is that, from Peterborough? Holy moly, Matt Elcock. Do you even know that that's like a 5-pointer in my book?
I don't think that's how the game works.
It doesn't, but it should. Laura Caston passing it around. Now Sagan tries again from the corner. Now he's too short, but great follow-up. To give him credit, Alex Sagan following up his shot there and earning a trip to the line. But Matt Elcock, you put him on, he barely even got a chance.
Let's take a look.
But then he gets to show you this. Within 5 seconds of getting on the court, he pulls up from a mile away and decides, wait a second, I think I could have taken another 3 steps before I was even
But why would he bother? He
line.
doesn't need to. He can shoot from half court and still get it in the basket. No problem.
I'm sure Coach Jonker would disagree with that, but at the same time, I'm sure he knows how good the range is on him. And at the same time, still awe-inspiring and a little shocking to see what skill Elcock possesses and how accurate he is when shooting from long distance.
And again, he is a first-year player, so Mohawk's going to have a good couple years with him. It'll be really interesting to see how he grows with the team.
Jordan Martin, Matt Elcock, part of that young, new crew. As they roll into town and try to remold the Mountaineers for years going forward, as Christine mentioned. Broad to Martin. Martin makes a nice little cut. What a better pass! Oh, that looked like street ball a bit, but Broad couldn't finish it. Bravo the board, and he outlets for Laura Caston. Caston cuts through with ease, lays it in, right hand off glass. Very smooth finish from the St. Clair guard. No, there's a nice move on Martin. Cut through 2, maybe 3, 4 on the pass. Gets wheeled around to Elcock. Oh, just a little short off rim. Kick out Sabaya. Offensive board by Collins leads to another chance, but the Mountaineers can't finish.
Bravo.
Oh,
down.
That's a big man tumbling to the ground.
Down.
Wow. You did not want to see a big man like Bravo falling on top of a smaller player like Elcock. That almost became a lot worse for Matt. But at the same turn, a foul on the play committed by the Mountaineers, and the Saints will move forward.
And you can see Elcock just shaking it off. He's ready to go. He's not going to let that stop him with his momentum in this game.
Mountaineers still ahead right now by just 4, though. 36-32. Lead's been cut right down. This was a 13-point lead. Mountaineers have only 4 points in the quarter thus far. We're over 4 minutes in. There's a miss from the Saints offensively. Outlet pass to Collins. Bad reaching by Bravo, but at the same time, I think he knew exactly what he wanted to do there. Slow down that fast break. He had really probably actually the smartest decision there, stopping the fast Collins from an easy bucket.
No, it was definitely intentional. I mean, he put up his hand. He's like, no, I own it. He gets it. But
and a good foul, too, because the Saints had no one back and no way of stopping Kareem Collins getting to the hoop there with ease.
No, they have a much better setup now, so we'll see if the Mountaineers can make it through. But
well,
of course,
Elcock, he just wants to shoot everything. That was from way out.
But again, he could have taken a few more steps there. He was not rushed at all.
And that might be just part of his game. He's got that flowing 3-point shot. Baskin here decides to take those extra steps. Instead of a 3, he shoots a long 2 and doesn't get it to go either.
See Martin looking across to Elcock.
He crossed Baskin, cuts right through inside. Nice little bounce pass to Sabaya, an easy finish. And if Martin continues to cut through the defense like that, the St. Clair Saints are going to have trouble stopping open looks because you got to have guys move over to Martin to cover him, and that leaves players open.
Well, Martin is so fast, so agile, he can just deke his way through.
And Lynch just misses a 3, but Drummond was clapping and jumping up and down underneath the basket, didn't get the ball. Martin pulls up and couldn't make this shot, and as the Mountaineers trying in transition to score quickly.
Kareem flying up and down the court.
And there's another miss. We've seen a massive amount of miss here in the past minute from both sides. Now Martin, a quick catch and shoot 3, doesn't get it to go. Both teams just swinging it back and forth and shooting it up.
I think Martin got a little greedy on that one. Elcock was pretty close to the net. I think that would have been better as a pass.
And Laura Caston, able to hit that runner in the lane with the left hand. The Windsor, Ontario native, second-year player for St. Clair. Mountaineers. Elcock drives by Baskin, took a shot, does not get the call, but sinks the easy baseline jumper. Matty Elcock is shooting the lights out right now for the most part. Baskin against Martin. Uses the screen from Bravo and then hands off to him. Bravo shoots it over to Lynch. Lynch cutting in, tried to go inside, and unfortunately lost out of bounds off his hands last. And we'll get some substitutions from either side as the Mountaineers prepare to inbounds with 3:44 to play first half. Saints with Caston, the Lynch brothers. As we've seen now, Jawan seems all right after that earlier nick-up. And then two Panama City members, Bravo and Atencio, on the court currently for the Mountaineers. Bailey, Achanwa, Elcock, Sabaya, and Collins.
Mohawk.
6-point lead.
Oh, that's what I was about to say. So you took the words right out of my mouth.
And Bailey just couldn't keep that in bounds on the pass from Collins. And now we've seen a substitution. It's Nick Vigley, the Cottam, Ontario native, rookie, 6'1".
He's taking his time coming in.
Vigley works at the top against Elcock. Now handoff, Lynch to Bravo. A long range two from Bravo. Not the best of shots, an air ball. Loose ball gets whacked around. Finds itself out of bounds. The Mountaineers are confused as to how that went off them. Elcock,
shot clock
please.
still on. 7 seconds for them to make this basket.
Atencio off the inbound. Trying to drive. Used his extra hand. Jonker can't believe it. He was right in the referee's ear, but the Mountaineers regained possession. But Elcock has to whip it off of Lynch. And unfortunately for St. Clair, Lynch not only was standing out of bounds when it went off him, but also that ball rolled out of bounds. So a smart play by Elcock, and he keeps possession for the Mountaineers.
No, he's definitely one of the playmakers in this.
Sabaya just had that three-pointer go in and out. Under 3 minutes to go. The offense has slowed down in this one. The Mountaineers just 8 points in the second quarter. Their lead is still far too close to within reach for Jonker's liking. 6 points right now.
But as we said, they do have a lead, so it's just going to be hanging on to that. 5 seconds left on the shot clock.
Kick out for Vigley. He's got to put it up with seconds counting down, and he did get it to go, but at the same time, the rebound may have been come down with by Bravo, but the foul is called underneath on him as Bailey hit the floor hard, and because of that, a turnover from St. Clair with 2:37 to play. So the Mountaineers, as you mentioned, still holding the lead, but trying to hopefully up it a bit here in the final minutes. Bailey almost knocked to the ground, finds Barr, who hangs in the air and makes the shot.
A classic Barr shot, muscling right through under the net.
And that's what Barr and Collins do best. They work themselves into those tight areas around the net, the high percentage areas, and Atencio there pretty clearly with his shoulder drives through a Chanwall for a pretty clear charging call. The referees did not have to make
that
much
looked more
of a
like
thought
a
on
hockey
that.
hit there.
Yeah. I think he tried to deck him, and that was about as illegal as it gets. And Atencio with the offensive foul will turn it over again for the Saints. A chance for Mohawk to up on this 42-34 8-point lead as we're coming towards the end of the first half, and it's been pretty tight. Obviously, it's not the kind of quarter, just 10 points right now, that the Mountaineers would have enjoyed or hoped for after that extremely hot start in the first. But if you're a Mountaineer fan, or if you're watching this game and just hoping for good basketball, I think you're getting a pretty solid game between two teams that have not had very good years this year.
No, well, St. Clair, I mean, they do rank 5th place, whereas you have Mohawk ranking 7th. But Mohawk, as we said, they're on a 7-game loss streak, and to be able to come back and fight as much as they are is incredibly impressive. Not necessarily what we would expect, but it is nice to see them have that lead. It'll be better to see if they can keep that lead. It'll be really, really good to see them move forward with this kind of momentum.
And hopefully, as you mentioned, the key to this is a win tonight actually opens the door for the Mountaineers to have a chance at the playoffs. If they don't win tonight, I would like to think that based off some other results, although I'll have to double check and we'll have to go through the standings and see who has to play who and what games are left in hand, I would imagine a loss tonight does officially eliminate Mohawk from contention, because I would imagine that Fanshawe or, of course, St. Clair would be grabbing their 7th win at that point and going above 500, or Redeemer getting an 8th win or already being at 7 eliminates Mohawk because they only have 3 games remaining after this.
Yeah, this win is
two
absolutely
games
crucial.
following.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
No, absolutely crucial here. We're going to get it back started. 2 minutes and 19 seconds left in the first half. Mohawk leading 42-34.
If they beat St. Clair, they not only would knock St. Clair to under 500, 6-7, they'd be 5-7 Mohawk. They'd be just that 1 win behind. So like Christina's mentioned, as much as you look back at this year and you go, how does a 7-game losing streak on a team somehow give them still a chance at winning a playoff spot? Well, your 4-9 Mohawk Mountaineers with a couple wins and a couple losses here and there to other opponents could find themselves in the playoffs with 6 wins.
And all you need is hope, and I think that's what this game signifies, is hope.
Ball brought forward by Lara Caston. Inside now it goes from Viegli into Atencio, back to Viegli cutting, but his shot doesn't go. Rebound for Drummond's down low, put it home. St. Clair cuts that deficit. 6 points now, 42-36, Collins. Elcock up fake, got his man to go up off his feet, then found Achanwa down low for the bucket and 1. Adrian Achanwa, not known for his scoring touch around the rim per se, finding the bucket there.
Drummond's just let that ball bounce off his head after it went in the net.
I had a feeling Christine had to notice that. I noticed, didn't want to say anything, kind of wanted to keep it almost secret.
Oh, but you couldn't. He felt so defeated.
I just think he was so in the game he didn't even realize what it was. 45-36 after Adrian sinks the free throw, completing the 3-point play. Drummond the other way says, well, this one can bounce all the way in. 45-38. Nice little lay-in from Drummond's there. The Hamilton, Ontario native. One of 2 Hamilton natives on the team for the Saints. There's Lynch stealing it. That was Germain, but he lost it for a second, albeit the tough hustle back defense of Bailey. And of course, Achanwa created that, although St. Clair will have the ball now to inbounds. And I believe they were ready to inbounds the pass there, but
a little bit of confusion down that end of the court.
almost a little too quickly from St. Clair. With 1:27 to go, Atencio. Cross court, Laura Cassin's open. No good, though. He missed his chance, but he got it back, and Viegli didn't get his either. 2 missed opportunities from the Saints. Collins the other way, stripped by Jermaine Lynch. Lynch back, finds Caston open, 3, book it. This time he ain't missing that.
That brings us to 45-41. Mohawk still leading only by a small margin.
Bailey wants the 3 under pressure from 3 men, couldn't do it. Chonwa the offensive board, but he's blocked away by Drummond. Caston traveled on his way to delivering that pass. Thanks to the pressure by Bailey. Give Jalen Bailey credit for hustling back there on his man after the miss. And because of that, he's forced another St. Clair turnover. So as this game has creeped again to within a couple possessions at just 4 points, 45-41, with under a minute to go in the half, Mountaineers trying to stretch it back a bit before we go into the short break. Barr to the left, almost dribbling it off the foot of Lynch. Then he defeated him by spinning him off. But Caston picks off his pass intended for Bailey. Caston the other way, driving, swatted by Collins. Loose ball still available. Barr finds it. Kareem Collins just destroyed that thing. Achanwa the other way, almost jumped over by Drummonds, and he gets another foul and the bucket. Well, that time Drummonds almost jumped over his head there. Good little hesitation by Achanwa to get that foul. But let's look back just for 5 seconds and think, if that Collins block doesn't take place, does that even happen? Kareem Collins has some sort of ability to play defense. I would almost relate him to very much, in some ways, he feels like a LeBron James coming back on D, because for his size, he shouldn't run that fast.
But he's everywhere.
That's what I mean. The amazing thing about Collins is we'll take a look here at this replay. Martin, great little finish inside. But Collins has such speed, as I said, for his size, and I know he just appears everywhere, but that ability to track back like that, I don't believe for a second Lynch even thought he was that close. I think Lynch went up like that because he thought Collins had given up.
He thought he was by himself, but no, Collins can go get a layup, and be right back at his net defending immediately afterwards. It's like impressive to see.
Very impressive to see. So, for the Mountaineers, as we stand right now, 6-point advantage.
We see St. Clair here regrouping, seeing how they can play off this next 26 seconds to get that 6 points they need to tie up the game.
And St. Clair would desperately like to continue to play the way they have towards the end of this quarter. Much different from that first quarter where they were, well, a little stunned, I would admit, as anyone would be, by the 3-point beret of attack that the Mountaineers brought with them to start this game. But at the same time,
yeah, that's what you get from Matt Elcock.
That is what you do get from Bailey and Elcock quite often. These guys are very good 3-point shooters. If they're feeling it, oh my goodness, you better have a body on them. And the Saints have adjusted. They've gotten the bodies on the guys outside. Mohawk has slowly adjusted, though, in this second quarter, and after starting very slow, have found themselves with 16 points on the board in the quarter. Pretty surprising turnaround for the Mohawk Mountaineers. Shot clock still on. There's a difference of 2 seconds for the Saints to work with. And they're under 10 on that clock. Atencio driving. Put the extra arm out, it looked like, but a hold on a Chanwa. Is it on the floor, though, or was he motioning upwards for the shot? And they're in the penalty, so you know what? It won't even matter. Atencio is to the line for 2. Jonker, though, had a few words. He does not look pleased about that call. That was a lot more of a lighter call. I think we've seen a lot of hard fouls tonight, though. Just the way that tonight's game's been played, very physical game, especially down low.
See if he can make this other shot.
Elcock spreading himself farther up court as Atencio makes the shot.
Brings it to a 6-point deficit with
And here
8
comes
seconds
Collins.
left. We'll
What
see
speed
if Collins.
from Kareem. Little handoff to the corner. Oh, and Elcock couldn't get it to go. Still
2,
loose. Still
1.
time. A shot from Barr. Just too much as he had to rush. He had almost no time to turn around and take a look even where he was on the court.
Well, they had to make a fast play there. It didn't quite work out, but they put the effort in.
48-42, the Mohawk Mountaineers will lead at the end of one half of play. The Saints, who came in 6-6, trying to go above 500 and really set themselves in a position where they could guarantee a playoff spot, have done nothing of the sort. The Mohawk Mountaineers, as Christina said, have given themselves some new life. If they win this one, they might have a chance at moving on to those OCAA playoffs. We have some highlights from the first half to leave you with, and then we will be back after a break for the second half of action from the David Bray Athletics and Recreation Center. Center on Mohawk College campus. I'm Nick Birnie, alongside me, Christine Midgley. The Mohawk Mountaineers have one of their few leads this season, and one of the few leads they've had during this 7-game losing streak. They currently are trying to rid of the demons, and right now leading by 6 as the second half has opened with the first possession going the way of the visiting Saints. The Mountaineers are looking to build on this very successful first half here tonight, but unfortunately the Saints started off on the right foot with an easy basket down low from Bravo. And Christine, what are a couple things, as you were talking to the coaches coming out of the half, from first the Mohawk Mountaineers, what are the home team looking to do building off that first half?
Jonker's pretty happy with how these guys played. He's seeing the kind of energy he was hoping for, seeing a lot of sharing of the ball, solid assists. So basically, as long as they keep going with that, it's going to go in their favor. However, the turnovers have been a huge issue for the Mountaineers. St. Clair getting most of their points off of easy balls where they're getting easy points.
And Martin finds Barr in the corner. Barr doesn't get it to go. Collins, though, battling and finds the loose ball for an offensive rebound. Collins to Barr. Barr driving baseline, and he put his foot on the baseline, out of bounds for a turnover. And as for the visiting Saints, Christine, what is something that Jimmy Parsons has asked his team to do to kind of change it up? The Saints are better than this usually, albeit a 500 team coming in.
Well, Parsons acknowledges that Jonker always puts out a tough team, so he wants his team to keep chipping away, really playing as one, working together, but most importantly, executing. If they execute and they follow through with these plays, as you're seeing them try to do right now, that's where you're going to win the game. See, it fell apart, and that's where the problem is. He says they know what to do, and they need to take care of business.
Martin hands off to Bailey from the side. Bailey, who was taking care of business in the first half, unable to do so there on that shot. Oh, Collins had a wide open Martin. He just rushed his pass a bit and threw it away out of bounds. You can hear Jonker saying that exact same notion. Take a little more time, be careful with the ball. And these are the kind of things that will possibly make or break this game for the Mountaineers as we come down to the final moments of it, depending if we do keep a tight contest. Mountaineers have had the lead pretty much through this one from the start, where they opened up a big first quarter lead, and the Saints brought it back down, much tighter second quarter of play. Collins, a little handoff, and another early three from the Mountaineers that doesn't go. Loose ball, Bravo wins it, and he gets it out.
Looks
Here
like follow-through is becoming a problem for the Mountaineers as well.
And Caston, who was one of the better St. Clair Saints, and we'll probably take a more detailed look at Caston later on in this one, getting the call as he goes to the hoop. Caston also a team-high 13 points in the first half of play. The leading scorer after one half, pretty much no surprise, Matt Elcock, 16 points on 4 of 7 from beyond the arc and 6 of 11 shooting.
Well, that was another comment that Coach Parsons had, is that part of the struggle with his team has been defending those three-point shots, mainly from Matt Elcock.
And after the first goes from Caston, St. Clair now trailing by just a possession. Second does not go, but an offensive rebound. Here's Baskin. Shot doesn't go either. First 3 points of the quarter, all for the Saints. Cutting the 6-point deficit in half. Martin to Bailey. Kind of rolls off his little screen or a half screen and doesn't knock down that three-pointer though. Atencio to Baskin. Working slowly up court. Inside. Ball on the top of the key. It's Atencio. Finds an open man. Lynch from the corner. Doesn't get the open shot. Baskin had an offensive board, and then he just had it slip out of his hands. That was just a miss from Lynch, and he was wide open on the side. Baskin then just unable to kind of squeeze that ball in the rebound. There's a pass from Collins picked off by Lynch. Lynch couldn't put it home. Grabbed his own rebound and is fouled hard as he went up for a third try, and he's going to get to go to the line. And the Saints, you can see Parsons, he's pretty pleased with his team right now. This has been a dominating start. We are barely into the third quarter of play. 2.5 have passed. and St. Clair have scored the only 3 points, but they've really kept the possession, and they've kept all the play really on the half of the Mountaineers for the most part.
Well, at this point, they're only trailing by 3 points. So, I mean, he missed that first one, which would have helped them close that gap a little bit. But here we go with the second, and he gets it. So we got 2 points separating these teams right now.
So Lynch, like teammate Caston, just 1 of 2 from the line. Great pass between Bailey and Martin. Martin outlets to Collins from beyond the arc, and he drills.
And again, shot from the outside, exactly what St. Clair was worried about.
When the Mountaineers are hitting that shot, as most teams would be, they are pretty dangerous. Baskin, Caston led the team in scoring. And there's a good lead down low at Atencio, but Atencio traveled. He did not think he took an extra step, but the referees disagree. We're right there on the baseline, had a good view of him. 51-46, 7:06 is very early. Barely 3 minutes gone.
I don't think Mohawk realized they needed to go take the ball at that point, but Broad stepped up.
As all 5 Mountaineers were in play wanting that ball instead of being ready to inbound it, Lamar Barr takes it to the hole with good strength, drawing the call. Jimmy Parsons, though, continues to do the dance in front of us, begging for a travel call. And he's letting everyone know.
There's 2 steps in basketball.
At first I thought he was doing a dance for real, like the Macarena, but he meant it.
He says he's more of a cha-cha slide person. That's my kind of guy.
At least Jimmy Parsons has a great sense of humor. I had a feeling.
And you got Barr going in for another shot, and he gets it.
So Barr able to make from the line. He sinks both. 7-point lead. St. Clair Saints trying to keep the possession. Lynch battling with Bailey to the rim, and he draws a foul as Bailey just could not believe as he kept his feet moving. He thought he had kept with Lynch the whole way to the hole. Lynch able to draw that call, though. And it's been a very tight game with a lot of calls, but at the same time, no complaints from either side. And I have to admit, this has been one of the better ref games I've seen. This is coming off a game I complained a bunch, but in all honesty, this has been a boatload better. Very, very consistent have the referees been. Not for a second have you been able to question why something was called and why something was let go. The occasional argument has been made here and there, but this has been a pretty solid game. And as Lynch makes both, we're right back down to a 5-point lead for the Mountaineers. Martin just gets over the timeline with Achonwa.
He struggled to get it out of there, but
And Collins pushed from behind as he was headed towards the hoop. Caston has some words for the referee. Felt like he was instead getting the shove from the outside arm of Collins, but either way, Caston ain't winning that battle, and the Mountaineers will inbound from the baseline. 5-point lead still. Lots of communication. They want him on Elcock. Elcock did not get that call. He wanted the foul on his 3-point shot. Barr, though, does earn that as he picked up the loose ball underneath and is fouled by Atencio. Elcock has been a clear source of interest for the St. Clair Saints, more so in this second half. They want the focus to be of their players guarding number 3, getting in front of him on any opportunity that he has an open look at the basket like that one, and that worked out much better for them.
Especially from the outside. They do not want him making those shots.
Bravo about to check in for the Saints. 4-point now advantage. 53-49. Missed from Barr, loose ball picked up by the Mountaineers. A shot from Elcock, no good, in and out. Atencio grabs that board over Achonwa. Achonwa was down for a second, but he's back up okay. But Baskin makes it hurt a little more with a big 3.
And you've got the St. Clair bench up and going. They're excited about this.
They're feeling it right now, and Martin loses it out of bounds. Achonwa can't believe it. I'm not sure if he's actually arguing about the previous play where he was knocked to the ground or for Martin on that one, feeling that there was a reach-in. Either way, frustration setting in for the Mountaineers early in the third quarter.
The score now only 1 point away, 53-52. It looks like Mohawk's losing some of their endurance, which that's going to be hard going through trying to finish this game strong.
And St. Clair has taken a lead. They haven't had a lead since they opened the game with a 5-0 lead, and Collins, offensive foul, took it against his man. There's been no complaint from Jonker. Instead, he calls a timeout. He looks pretty disappointed with the first 4 minutes and 10 seconds, which is exactly the opposite reaction of the St. Clair Saints and their bench.
Well, you can see them right now. They are celebrating. As you said, they haven't had a lead the entire game. So for them to come back right now is crucial. So hopefully Jonker is giving his guys the right pep talk that they need to get them back into this game.
And also for the Mountaineers, they are currently being outscored 12-5 in this quarter. So clearly they need to pick it up, get involved, get active with their hands and with their feet, because thus far, through the first 4 minutes of this quarter, they've pretty much shown up, or rather, for better lack of a word, have not shown up.
Well, I think that's the struggle when you have such a young team. I mean, we've talked about it time and time again. They have so many rookies, and it's great. They come out strong. However, we're talking about endurance. They're dying off by the time we get to this point in the game. And you just can't. Like, the end of your game is going to be the most important. If you can't stay for that, what's the point?
So the Mountaineers, as we mentioned, they had a lead after the first quarter that was impressive. It was 14 points. Or excuse me, a 13-point lead, 32-19. It was a very impressive lead. It was cut into in the second quarter, which could have been expected for most. This is a team that's not used to even having a lead. They've basically not seen a lead since, you could say, the first opening minutes of games over the last 7 during the losing streak. Be interesting to see if they can handle now being behind in this game for the first time since early. Well, they weren't behind for long.
Mohawk now has 3 points on the St. Clair Saints.
And also, I believe they had checked the score and rechanged the score around. Mohawk was still ahead the last time. They had changed the score to 54-53, but there, Atencio!
There's the dunk that you want to see.
There's the attention seer as he has drawn it again.
Nick, we've
slams
discussed
it
this,
down low.
No more.
The attention seeker has drawn it again.
Let's go to Lamar Barr now, to Elcock.
And Lamar gets it outside. Nothing wrong with saying his name that way.
5
He's
seconds
still a good
left
dunker.
on the shot clock.
Collins tripped up by Caston. And we got to take another look at that Atencio dunk, who slams it down low where most people can't get the hops to get up there. And he just took a little pass from Lynch and just throws it down. He's probably the only player on the court that can actually get up that high to dunk from that close to the basket, although he is one of the few players that's actually tall enough to dunk. Mountaineers don't quite have the same height as the Saints down low in their forward category.
I mean, he is 6'7". You've got Bravo, who's 6'8".
Atencio not able to get that one to go, followed up by his teammate who fell hard over top of him.
But he's bouncing back up. He looks like he's okay to go.
Atencio
fixing his shoe
took a
again.
little second there, but I think he's just fixing his shoe. Looked originally like he was shaking his hand. Still might be sore after he slammed it off the rim so hard with that last dunk, but St. Clair down a point. This will slow up momentum in the game right now for both teams a bit. But the Panama City native has definitely been an interesting factor in this one. Lynch cuts inside, gets the foul call and the hesitation as he goes up strong and draws it on his way up. So 56-55, 1 point game, 4:41 to go, third quarter. Jermaine Lynch from the line. And he's not able to get the first to go.
But we'll see if he can tie the game with this second attempt.
And it will go for Jermaine Lynch. Lynch shoots better than his brother from the free throw line, 76.6%. Jawan only a 65% shooter. So he's the better free throw shooter of the two. There's a defensive board for Atencio, leading the court. Lynch, little handoff for Baskin, but he didn't take the shot. Goes down low for Atencio, spinning on Sabaya and drawing the call as he threw it up. Sabaya can't believe it. He's looking at him like, what happened there? But at the same time, the call is made and Atencio will go back to the line. And now he does look hurt. I don't know if he's feeling it from earlier things or just that kind of contorted him a bit, but even Sabaya is kind of still talking to the referee saying, I don't see what I did.
Well, Elcock's over there talking right now. We're seeing this tie break as St. Clair pulls ahead after that shot.
So the Mountaineers need to figure out their offense. It's been a very quiet crowd in this third quarter as well, as they've been silenced by the lack of the lack of interest, I would like to say, of the Mountaineers, at least from what they've shown. They almost seem a little bit disengaged right now, which is much different from that first quarter and even the first half. Bailey from beyond the arc, can't get it to go. Things are just not falling right now. Outlet pass by Bravo, nice knockdown by Collins, better teammate tip by Bailey. Collins comes up with it, works on his defender Baskin, a good pass off. Bailey can't hit another open look though. Bravo the loose ball to Jermaine Lynch, who wants to slow things down for the Saints here as we come under 4 minutes to go, third quarter. Saints have really started to take control of this game out of nowhere after being down 6 coming into the third quarter play. There's a miss from long range though. Chance for the Mountaineers to cut into this. Kick out, Elcock. Now Bailey, another three-point try. Doesn't get it to go again. Ball knocked loose. Elcock off a man. Collins tried to quickly flip it to Bailey. Maybe a little bit too quick.
We're getting a swap out here. We are seeing Lara Caston back into the game, hoping to put some more points up for the Saints.
58-56 lead. Atencio substitutes out. One of the first rests he'll get. Caston, Lynch, or the Lynches, Bravo, and Baskin on the court. That'd be Jermaine and Jawan Lynch for the Saints. There's a miss with the left hand from Caston, but guess who to clean up? Bravo.
Rebound.
The other Panama City man is the Panama City members, Bravo and Atencio. My goodness, that name. Atencio and Bravo have been pretty significant to the St. Clair Saints tonight. But of course, William Lara Caston, who we will get to later at the end of this quarter, has also been a key piece, as he has all year. And this team has definitely turned it around and shocked the Mountaineers a bit here in the third quarter.
I see Martin shooting for some free throw points here, seeing if he can bring the score a little closer together.
Martin off back rim. Unfortunately, can't hit the first.
No, I think these guys need to get their game back together. You can see them unraveling.
Martin misses both from the line, and the Mountaineers can't cut this deficit down. It's 4 points right now. Nick Weigley setting himself to come back in. Ball worked over here to the side. Lynch, now Koss. Caston cutting through. Beautiful attempt at the finish, but it did not go. Rolls out. Collins, nice move along the sideline. Cutting through. Nice outlet pass, but the problem was he ran over his defender in the process for a charging call. Caston stood his ground very well, and Collins just unable to keep a check on his feet there.
That's too bad because Martin did have a beautiful shot from the outside at that point, but no luck.
Good attempted setup, but things, again, not working the way of the Mountaineers right now. Kind of feels like the story of their season. They've been close in quite a few games, and things have sort of slipped out of their reach since that early 4-2 start. 7 straight losses have hurt them. Trying to bounce out of it again tonight, and there, Baskin not helping at all. Curls around the screen and drills it.
It looks like a different team out here for the Saints than what we saw in the first half of this game. They have really stepped it up. As we're seeing, they're playing like a team, exactly what their coach wanted to see.
Baskin cuts around Bailey, finds in the corner Weigley, well too short with the 3 there. 6-point lead and a turnover. Caston wide open.
You've got the whole bench for St. Clair's pretty much on the court cheering their team on as they're getting down to that basket.
Isaac Gamble getting ready to check in right in front of us here. We'll take another look at that turnover. Collins, a flimsy pass. Caston came running through as the Mountaineers, though, able to score now. Finally getting this lead cut into a bit, although they bring it just back down to 6. Minute and a half ticking away in the third quarter. Baskin open, takes the pass, cutting through, almost lost it, regained it, put it up, and the foul called against St. Clair, I believe. And it's going to be, although the refs will first deviate between each other, and finally we're going to see 14. That's Bravo getting the call down low.
He was not happy about that at all.
A little bit of a loose elbow or forearm was thrown by Bravo is the call, and with that, Gamble able to check in for Viegli. First look at Isaac Gamble for the St. Clair Saints. Bailey, meanwhile, goes to the other end to shoot 2 as both teams are in the penalty in the final minute 21. And Jalen Bailey, who's had a very quiet game since that explosion to start the first quarter.
The first quarter was where he really shone. He really needs to tap back into whatever that was if the Mohawk Mountaineers think they have a chance to get back in this game.
He makes both here, so those are his first 2 points since the first. He hasn't scored since that opening quarter in those 3-pointers. So Bailey puts himself into double digits in points with those 2. St. Clair, though, still hold a lead, albeit only 4 now. Mohawk trying to cut it down again. Nearing a minute to go third quarter, but an open look for Gamble. No good, he was short. Barr smartly slows things down. Will head across the timeline, making a pass to Elcock. Now Martin from Barr, and he wants to kind of set pieces here in motion for the Mountaineer offense. Goes to his left to Elcock. Off the screen, Elcock finding space, leaning. Doesn't get it to crawl.
5 seconds on the clock, and it goes back.
Here comes the other way, the Saints. Lynch to the corner. Gamble moved, and he should not have taken that step before he put the dribble down. The referee right beside him had an easy view of the travel.
Again, Mohawk forgetting that they need to go and bring the ball inbound before they all head back.
And even the St. Clair Saints, I think, are laughing there down towards their teammates, saying, you forgot that basketball, you need to bring that thing to the floor with you.
Okay, we've got 30 seconds left in this quarter.
Sabaya, Martin, inside, a chance here. Tried to be a little fancy there, Martin, when he didn't need to. Went for the extra pass to Sabaya instead of going up with it, and it might have cost the Mountaineers a chance at points. And a timeout by Jimmy Parsons with 22.3 seconds left in the third quarter of play means the Saints will try to regroup for one last possession before the end of the third quarter.
Now, we mentioned it before, simplicity is sometimes the biggest asset. As he said, they were getting a little bit too fancy at the net. They were getting muscled around a bit, when really they just had to play the good plain basketball, which is where you're going to get into the net with easier shots.
And I think as we go through this game, St. Clair has slowly kind of found their groove and caught their momentum and found their way. The second quarter should have proven that a little more. Third quarter has definitely made that known. At the same time, the Mountaineers, while this is taking place, have lost their grip on tonight's game. And as you mentioned a couple times, look, and even I mentioned, look just a little bit out of it, disengaged in that third quarter.
They do not look like the same team we were watching earlier in this game. So hopefully, whatever Jonker is saying to them right now, you can see it on your monitors. Hopefully, he's getting them revved up again to finish off this quarter strong and hopefully for the fourth quarter.
Mountaineers will need a strong push if they want to snap the 8 or 7-game losing streak they're currently on. They would like to start a win streak to end the year, as we mentioned earlier in the night. That could propel them to the playoffs. And you wouldn't think that a team who has suffered 9 losses in a 16-game schedule, who is guaranteed to finish below 500, has a chance at that still with 3 games remaining. But with this being one of 3 final games, Mountaineers need wins. This is not, though, how they plan to get one. St. Clair off the inbounds. No shot clock. They just have to get over the timeline and make something happen.
15
Lynch does that.
seconds left.
Here's an easy finish for Bravo. Now the Mountaineers will have the last shot with under 10 seconds. Martin brings forward, looking for points here to cut into this deficit, and he jacks up a 3 that doesn't go.
And the final shot.
And a chance from half court, no foul being called. St. Clair looks everywhere for the foul call, but more smiles on the face. Maybe even a thumbs up is in probably a good non-call. 66-60 the score at the end of 3 quarters. And as we come to the end of 3 quarters with the Saints now taking the lead, we're going to see the profile here brought up of William Caston, who's probably been one of the biggest reasons why St. Clair has gotten themselves a lead through 3 quarters.
Laura Caston, He has an 85.7% on the free throw, which we haven't even really seen a lot of. He's been making the outside shots in this game.
Well, at the same time, though, 13.2 points per game. He's not a high-end scorer. 47.5 field goal percentage, 32.7, as you said, from beyond the arc. But that free throw percentage being so high, one of the scary things about him is you don't want to allow him to get to the line too often. He's second in all of the OCAA with his percentage from the line. And tonight, as you mentioned, albeit he has not exactly attacked the line as much, he's still been one of their leaders in scoring, and it's because he's been able to work that shot from outside. And I think if we're just going to see the Saints, continue their success offensively, I should say, going forward in the fourth, the ball's going to get through the hands of Caston more and more.
And you can see him really plan his shots.
And we're going to take some quick highlight look back on the third quarter's top plays from either side. It started with the Saints scoring early, and really it'll end with the Saints scoring late as they've taken this 6-point lead. But I think from the highlights you can clearly tell one of the keys that the Mountaineers have not had in this third quarter, or at least have not brought with them since the first. The outside shot isn't falling, and they can't seem to refigure or configure their offense to form some sort of different way of scoring.
Well, we'll see as these guys are walking back on the court. Maybe Jonker is able to turn something around over that little break they had there. Because as he said, things just aren't seeming to work out the way that the way we want to see them work out.
So the Mountaineers head back to the court. We're getting ready for the fourth quarter of action. Final stanza and the final opportunity for the Mountaineers to crawl back into this one. They've blown a lead. They had the lead after one quarter. They let the Saints back in the second, and they officially let the Saints take control of this one in the third. So unless the Mountaineers have something they can do here, they're on their way to an 8th straight defeat.
You're going to see Bailey. You got Bailey, Martin, Lamar Barr, Jesse Broad, and Matt Elcock taking the court for the Mountaineers.
The Mountaineers trying to get something started on the offensive end to begin the quarter. Elcock to Martin. Martin cutting through the lane with ease. Bravo came over, and Martin draws the call and one. And he's going to go to the line to shoot that one, try and complete a 3-point play. So a great start for the Mountaineers, going right into the hole, getting a tough bucket inside, and earning a foul. And of course, this would be the kind of quarter you would like to see St. Clair hit the penalty early if you're the Mountaineers. Martin, though, missing the shot, followed it up strong, went for his own loose ball. Jump ball is called, and therefore, with the possession error in the favor of the Saints, they will regain possession now.
At this point, there is a 4-point deficit for the Mohawk Mountaineers, with St. Clair leading at 66 points.
Caston, before he gets to inbounds. And there was a little confusion there. Jonker wanted to make sure there's no foul call, and the referee wanted to just let him know that there would be no foul call. But because of that, they wanted to switch up the shot clock, I believe, take a couple seconds off for the Saints here. Baskin works forward here, moving against Martin. Looks to his left to Caston, who's touched the ball quite often on the offensive end. One of their key signings, Jermaine Lynch cutting through. What a shot! I don't know how he did it, hanging up in the air, but he shows off some great body balance there, and Lynch hits it, upping that St. Clair lead to 6. Bailey against Caston. Bailey wants to take Caston in, kicks it out Martin, but instead Bailey, like earlier we've seen with Barr, could not keep his control as he went in through the middle, or excuse me, Collins. We saw that earlier. The Mountaineers have been caught again on a charge. That kick out is there, but you got to watch your feet as you continue to drive forward to the net.
They cannot afford those kind of mistakes at this point in the game. We have 9 minutes left. They're down by 6 points. They need every chance they can get, and those mistakes just aren't working in their favor.
Missed opportunities for the Mountaineers have cost them thus far. Gamble with an open 3 doesn't go. Bravo makes them pay with an offensive board and a putback, stretching the lead to 8. And now we're seeing Jawan Lynch get ready to substitute in for the St. Clair Saints. Jesse Broad thought about the spot up 3, and he was caught on a travel. Originally might have been a possible that he could have been tripped up a bit there, but he took the extra step before he put the dribble down, and the Mountaineers have turned it over early in the quarter. Martin goes over to have a little word with Broad, try and keep them all on the same page here. The Mountaineers will need to put in a full load of effort here. This is not going to be an easy fourth quarter. The Saints have really picked up the pace and just seemingly improved with each possession in this game. Lynch slowly guiding the offense to the right. Finds Cass an open left corner three, off back iron, pops out, and great play by Lynch to find basket. Now over to Caston in the corner again, doesn't go. Loose ball down low. It's Jawan Lynch with an offensive board. Finds his brother Jermaine. Great moves made Martin slip down to the ground, and he able to cut through and earn the call. Must admit, the St. Clair Saints are driving the Mountaineers, it would seem like, insane with the amount of offensive rebounds they pulled down. But what really would be driving Brian Jonker insane is the lack of boxing out and finding a man. There's 5 white shirts, 5 green shirts, and when it's on offense for St. Clair most times, it looks like there's 7 green shirts and 5 white shirts.
Half the time, their players look wide open. As we've talked about, you've seen Lara Caston on the outside every time, but every single time he's been open.
And you're wondering, where's that guy and where's that help defense coming over to cover? St. Clair is driving them insane right now. They can't seem to pick up a man. 8-point deficit, 8:07 to go.
Got the Mohawk players looking at the clock, trying to figure out exactly how much time they've got to turn this thing around.
And Jermaine Lynch has had a heck of a game. He's really poured it in. Both ends of the floor. He's been a tough defender, but he's been one heck of a ball handler and a real tough piece to deal with. Not just scoring, but playmaking.
Oh,
and
there's a little celebration there.
The excitement of the Saints is taking over, and they're not afraid to show it, but with every right they should. They are picking up the pace in this one and feeling good. Martin from the right side, short jumper does not fall. Things are not working for the Mountaineers. Baskin coming forward. Takes his time. Saints know they can use the clock to their advantage now. Drummonds, outside Lynch, Jawan Lynch, tried to go inside to Bravo, hit a leg. Bravo still finds Caston outside, driving in with the left hand, or the right, excuse me, but he was caught on a travel. He knew it, no argument there. And with 7:42 to go, a turnover could help the Mountaineers slightly cut this deficit down. It's reached double digits at 10 points. Martin working against Caston, given some space. Now Barr pulls up for three. Doesn't get it to go. Achanwa can't win the offensive board. Basket the other way with steam. Ends up kicking it out. Caston open three. Short off front rim. Ball bounds away and picked up by the Saints. Jawan Lynch to Baskin. Baskin to Bravo. Working against a smaller Achanwa. Nice turnaround move. Bravo, that was terrific work. And he used his body size to his advantage. Martin working against Crossan. What a move, but Bravo swats it away. And Bravo
is not letting anyone in his house.
No, not on both ends of the floor. He owns the one end.
But he's coming out now, subbing in.
And Atencio will get his opportunity to come in and replace him down low, but we'll take another look at that. Terrific work by Bravo on both ends of the court. Here's his work on the other end defensively, swatting that Martin ball. And there, a great finish the other way is Caston on the fast break while we showed that replay, able to finish the lay-in for the Saints off a turnover. Achanwa quickly goes to drive the hoop and draws a foul, but the lead is now stretched to 76-62. The Mountaineers have watched this game just become imploded, and they really have what it feels like no ability to pull themselves closer here, it feels.
No, and you can see the frustration on their face. I think
Barr does get a point there.
They're having a bit of a mental breakdown at this point, and that's really more of a struggle than I think the physical endurance at this point.
Mountaineers have let this one slip away. They've got to really grab the reins now. There's a big turnover, could work their favor. Collins, though, poked away by Caston. Nice follow through defensively by Caston, and a good reach in there. So the Mountaineers will inbound the ball from the baseline underneath the St. Clair net with 6.5 to play. Elcock, Martin, Collins, and Achanwa on the court with Barr. As the 5 Mountaineers, Elcock to Collins. Collins wants to take Baskin, but finds Barr open in the corner. So Barr tries to nail the three. He got hit on the play. There's no call. The Mountaineer bench was up, but there was no call and no veil from the referee. And the other way, Drummonds finishes with ease, wide open.
Martin trying to get through again.
And a great cut, though, from Martin,
Finishes
as you mentioned. A good finish from Martin the other way. Caston, though, and he finishes and one. Laura Caston makes it look too easy. He gets a little love from his teammate, Jermaine Lynch. Jermaine Lynch. It is Jermaine. Thought for a second Jawan there. They look pretty close. But number 3, Lynch, gives some love. Now Jawan and the rest of the teammates can share their thoughts with him. It's an 80-66 advantage that St. Clair's opened up, and the Mountaineers have let this one slip.
You can just see the confidence on the faces of St. Clair. You can see, unfortunately, in some drastic contrast there, the Mountaineers not looking too happy on their end.
So the Mountaineers, they're going to pull themselves out of this one. It's going to be quick.
I mean, it's doable. It is still
More
doable
than
at this
doable,
point.
14-point deficit. But if you're down 14 and it's 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter against a team that's playing like the Saints are, just like the Mountaineers for their playoff lives, the Saints cannot lose games like this because a loss of the Mountaineers allows the Mountaineers to have a chance at their spot. I know that right now this is probably one of those games that would need a huge turnaround to happen immediately. They can't wait any longer. If this takes another 3-4 minutes off the clock and we remain about a double-digit distance, I doubt this game, has any chance left for the Mountaineers.
No, it's the head game at this point. We'll see if these guys can pull it off. But as I said, St. Clair, you can see their confidence shining through, and if they continue to carry that through, I mean, we know exactly how this game would end.
Caston will try to finish off a 3-point play here. Mountaineers are looking to try and win, of course, their first game in 8. If they lose tonight, it'll be 8 straight losses on the table for the Mountaineers. They were once, yes, a 4-2 team this year, currently 4-9 since enduring this massive losing streak. They still have not won a game in the second half of the season here in 2017. Martin, kick out. Collins thought about it, working against Drummond inside. Tried to throw it down to Barr, almost threw it away. Barr then almost had it knocked out of his hands by Baskin. Finally a jump ball called between Baskin, Atencio, and Barr, who are about as wrapped up as you could possibly get. Looks like Twister down there.
Hey,
and I know Barr ain't winning because he ain't having fun.
Well, he's not giving up, though, and that's what counts at this point.
And our producer in our ear, Allie, just had to let us know that she felt like that was the most vicious game of Twister, and she has no reason to go play there, and I feel the same way. I don't think I'd be winning that either.
No, you wouldn't.
Unless I wanted to get my arms ripped off. 5:46 to go. The Mountaineers are definitely putting the effort in. They won possession thanks to the possession arrow, so they still have a chance to cut into this 15 now point deficit after that 3-point play from, as there's a tip in from and lost by Caston.
As he slides into the wall.
And he is giving it about his all right now. And he looks all right, comes up with a smile on his face. The effort has been there from the St. Clair Saints pretty clearly.
Well, they wouldn't have gotten back that lead if they didn't have that effort.
And so Martin off the inbound, driving past Lynch, taking in the middle. Atencio knocked out of his hands. Collins open, 3 doesn't go. Martin follows it up, tries to quickly put it back up and does not have that fall either. Caston battled with by Chonwall, gets over to Jermaine Lynch. They break the full court press. Lynch coming back, and Lynch can't finish that runner in the lane. And the ball falls out of bounds. And as it falls out of bounds, the Mountaineers will have to fall back to center court here, or excuse me, the Saints will have to fall back to center court, and the Mountaineers will make a sub as Jalen Bailey comes on and Kareem Collins gets a well-deserved rest. But the more time that comes off this clock and they cannot cut into this deficit, the more it works in favor of the Saints. Oh, a smart little play by Martin, and he had Caston diving for that ball but could not get it. But a turnover leads Caston on the fast break, and he goes sliding into the other wall at the other end after scoring. But there's a bad pass the other way by the Mountaineers, and now Atencio, well, my goodness, he just put that through an opponent's legs, but then just couldn't finish it. Elcock, kick out. Bailey had it tipped by Atencio as he ran out at him. A Chonwall underneath, and he turned it over to Caston. Fast break the other way. Pass it up. Oh, Atencio wanted that. The alley-oop just missed. Either way, St. Clair is bringing it now.
They
19-point lead. Oh, yeah. 4:40 to go. The Mountaineers have really let it slip away now. And inside, we're going to see a foul. It is on Atencio. Atencio with the foul underneath. We'll take a look at that. And I believe the replay we're going to have for you here, just 1 second, is Caston with that beautiful alley-oop pass. Atencio maybe just a little far away from the baskets if he wanted to slam that down, which would have been lovely and all. As there's Martin finishing a lovely play himself off glass.
But again, we said it didn't have to be fancy. We don't need the fancy dunks from Atencio. He's getting it in. They're getting the points.
And they're getting many more points than the Mountaineers right now, to say the least. Open look, Sagan. Can't get it to go. Drummond underneath, though, another offensive board. You can't win a game when you're giving up this many second chance points. It's pretty clear the Mountaineers are letting the Saints run away now with this one. A turnover again, but Drummond turned it right back over. Barr, quick three, drilled it. Finally, something for Lamar goes through, or even for the Mountaineers in general. And Jermaine Lynch, as a timeout is called by St. Clair, has a wry look over at the bench. He does understand his teammate's hurt, but he was saying, hey, I'm wide open. Unfortunately, I don't think they need all those extra points. 87-71, 3:56 to go in the fourth quarter. Christine, it's a 16-point deficit. I really didn't think the game would follow the same kind of track line as the women's game. But like when in the women's, the Mountaineer women took advantage in the fourth quarter and ran away with it, we're seeing the exact opposite in the men's game. It's the St. Clair Saints now who are taking advantage of the fourth quarter and making a very close game a blowout.
As you said, we've seen them die off. We've said they've been unraveling the whole time. You see the Saints coach here giving his team a pep talk. They're looking nothing but smiles. If you go over to the Mohawk side, everybody's looking exhausted. We saw some shots of Matt Elcock earlier, and you could just see the exhaustion on his face. I don't know how much further they can get, but here we go, trying to finish off this last portion of the game with 3 minutes, 56 seconds left. 87 for St. Clair, 71 for Mohawk.
And you hit the nail on the head. There's no better way to describe this game, as the Mountaineers have pretty much turned off the channel and decided to tune out, it feels. I know the effort's there, and that's not to say that all of them on the court are pretty much not caring. They care, you can see it, but it's just not come together for them. And the last two quarters especially have been very disappointing, the way the St. Clair Saints have been able to dominate them, mainly in this fourth quarter through the first 6 minutes. There, though, a turnover from the Saints, and the Mountaineers, after scoring that three from Barr to cut it back down to 16, now get a turnover and maybe a chance to cut it a little more. They are running out of time, though. They got to be quick.
Well, we talked about the importance of execution with Coach Parsons over the half there, and I think it's almost flipped around. The execution just hasn't been there for the Mohawk Mountaineers, and that's really what they need to do to try and finish this game strong, or at least try and hold on a bit. Yeah, it's kind of past it, I think, at this point.
Barr too short on that three, and if the threes aren't falling, it's not going to be any easier. Juwan Lynch under immense trouble. Bailey and Collins just were like, give me the ball, it's ours anyways. It does say Mohawk on it. But to no avail, the referee possession clearly in the way of the Saints. Could have been a foul there almost on the Mountaineers. And there's a great outlet pass. Jermaine Lynch on the run. What a little fake in the middle. My, he's getting pumped. He's had a heck of a game. Let's give credit where credit is due.
Absolutely. Again, St. Clair bench right on the court cheering on their team.
And very excited, so excited they didn't agree with that call, and you could hear them through the headsets there. And the Saints, and that's part of the difference you've seen tonight. Their bench has been lively. They've been helping. They've been building the energy of their team. The Mountaineers bench we haven't heard a peep from, I think, since the first quarter.
No, and that's the thing. You need to be supportive. Same with the fans. We haven't heard anything from the fans pumping up the Mohawk guys
And that
either.
has also been disappointing for a pretty decent-sized crowd. We have not heard a peep from the crowd, and there hasn't been much to cheer about. Give them that. But a very quiet crowd here tonight at the David Bray Athletics and Recreation Center. The Mohawk Mountaineers have not given them much to cheer about, and they ain't doing any better. Bravo on that one. Very bravo.
Again, no more puns. I'm done.
Martin for three, drills it. How can you not have puns on the two easiest names that literally mean something, Christine Midgley? You are the most depressing person ever. I am being replaced. I have a job now. Moving forward. Bailey to Elcock. Elcock from way out can't get it to go, and the Mountaineers are throwing them up now. Barr able to grab the board and score. 2.5 to go.
93 to 76.
Cutting through, and Caston finishes. We're going to see a substitution coming up of Atencio. Not that the Saints will really need to make any changes. Bailey for 3 doesn't go. Barr another offensive board, as he's really been doing well on the boards here lately, Barr, and he puts another in.
He's not giving up. You can see him. He's always been a leader of this team, and he's trying to get those final points. But as we've said, at this point, 2 minutes left in the game. It's not going to make much of a difference.
Jermaine Lynch takes that long stretch pass, driving towards the hoop. Great little dump pass. Jermaine Lynch is having fun now. Too much fun.
The whole team's having fun. You're seeing dancing on the sideline.
And because he was dancing up the side after he made that terrific play. Bailey able to hit a 3. But this game has just become an offensive firehouse. And I have to admit, we laughed because Jawan Lynch just got poked in the eye almost by the referee by accident for just trying to ask him a question. Not the referee's fault either. But he almost got poked his eye out there.
Innocent mistakes, they happen.
97-81, 147 to go. Atencio back on with Bravo, Jermaine Lynch, Baskin, and of course, Caston. And Caston there, traveling almost, but lost the ball to Martin. Dribbled off his foot. Here's Bailey. Open 3 again. And now, with Bailey having made a couple threes, there may only be 1:35 left, but St. Clair has decided to call a timeout. It's 97-84. It's a 13-point game. Barr and company have left it late, and I don't think they're going to have the time needed to cut down this deficit like they want to.
1 minute and 35 seconds is not enough time to have that kind of a comeback, especially, as we've said, with the exhaustion they're feeling.
So the St. Clair Saints have definitely earned themselves their lead right now and their advantage, but at the same time, they've taken it to the Mountaineers more and more as the fourth quarter has improved. And as you come to think of it, the Mountaineers, as we said earlier, they haven't played with a whole lot of leads this year. So it's not as if when the first quarter came and went that lead was something common for them.
It was heartbreaking. It's made
heartbreaking
it more
to see, but not common for them to actually deal with. So I feel like part of what we're seeing tonight is that extra frustration that you knew you actually had a lead in this game, and this is still, again, we're in the same position. It's got to feel even worse for the guys, like you said, Bar Collins, guys who have been here during winning times, to say, we really can't even hold a lead for more than a quarter.
Well, yeah, you had a team last year that ended up going to the finals, a largely undefeated team for the most part. And to come into a season like this, as I said, you can see how frustrated they have gotten, and it is hard for those guys. You have to think they'd lose some morale over that.
So, 1:35 to play. The final ticks of this one might not be the most, well, competitive, but we'll see. Baskin off the inbounds, definitely being charged by the Mountaineers. They're trying to put the pressure on. Kudos to them. 3 men on the ball. They're definitely creating some problems for Baskin. They found the open man, though, and Atencio just can't hit it. But there's an open rebound and unable to finish underneath.
Lamar Barr not giving up.
Back the other way. Elcock. Air ball. Not often will you see that from Elcock.
No, but you look at him. He is so tired.
And he looks pretty disappointed, not just with himself on that one, but in general with the effort tonight. By the way, that was TJ Howard, or TJ is listed as Albert as another name, Howard. He's also a Hamilton, Ontario native, one of the only 2 on this team, him and Drummonds, from the area, born and raised. Atencio under immense pressure, and a foul is called on the reach-in eventually by the Mountaineers, and I'm not sure if they really do want to play the foul game. They are already trailing 13 points with just 1:06 to go. I'm not sure if Jonker will actually have them continue to foul, or if they'll just let this one run out. The Mountaineers on their way to an 8th straight loss. The Saints will win their 3rd straight, which has pulled them from an under 500 team to a team that is now 7-6, above 500, and actually in a pretty good spot to obtain an OCAA playoff position. And just before the ball has been inbounded, things are going to be switched up in terms of the shot clock, and they're going to bring it to 18 seconds here, and Drummond will have to inbounds again.
We'll take 2.
So another attempt. And TJ Howard had that one go in through his hands, but Barr with a great steal. Barr drives the lane. What a finish by Lamar Barr.
1 minute left in this game here
Lamar
at
Barr.
the Braley Center.
What a terrific finish, though, from Lamar. He still plays with heart all the way to the final ticks. It's a shame, though, the St. Clair Saints scoring on that will now improve their lead to 99-86. There's a steal from Atencio as things continue to get out of hand here a little bit as Martin pulls Atencio down, but actually he's called for traveling. Now Martin's trying to pull the ball at Atencio, who's holding it in his legs, and he's getting mad, and then, oh boy, Sabaya pushes Howard, and now the referee has to come over and say, wait a second, guys. Do we really have to go there with 45 seconds? But in a frustrating game like this, on a team that has lost 8 in a row, you start to wonder, when will the boiling point come? And it might be right here that the Mountaineers are just fed up in a game that they did have a lead in. This might be extra tough on them to know that they're going to lose this one tonight.
As we said, they must be so disheartened after having that lead. And really, as I talked about before, this was kind of their chance at hope. It was a hopeful game. They had that lead beforehand, and you can see what's happened now.
As Elcock reaching in there, trying to win the ball Baskin. Nothing too vicious there. Those are just a good, hard effort from both of those on the court. And at the same time, you have to wonder, the Mountaineers, as they come to the end of this one, where does Jonker go from here with these final 2 games? Barr, open long look from way out, doesn't go. Drummond comes down the board, got pulled by Martin a bit from behind. And with that, a foul is called, and you can see Jimmy Parsons is trying to keep this game at cool heads by calling his team over to kind of have them hang around him instead of just hanging around on the court. And that might be the best thing, actually, for St. Clair.
I was going to say that's a really smart move because, as we said, they have been playing so well as a team. So to see them kind of losing focus a little bit as Mohawk gets more frustrated, they don't really want to go that route for the end of the game. Another point for St. Clair, bringing them up to a solid 100.
So Drummond, as he hits the century mark for his team, makes the second to go to 101. Bailey takes the long-range pass, and it'll take a quick spot-up 3 that doesn't go. Baskin the board, and the shot clock has been turned off.
20
and Martin
seconds.
with another foul in the middle. And of course, with both teams in the penalty, every foul leads to 2 shots from the line. So St. Clair will go there again with the shot clock off. 21 seconds to go in the ball game. The Mountaineers will lose their 8th straight game of the OCAA season. And it's not been a good, easy, or fun ride in any sort of term for Coach Jonker during this period of time. And 2017, still winless for the Mountaineers as it stands.
No, I think moving forward, again, it's the endurance that's the problem because we did see such a great start from them in this game. And if they can keep playing the way they did in the first half of this game, I think they could see some significantly different results.
There are positives, like you said, to take away. That first half, first quarter especially, were brilliant from the Mountaineers, and something that surprised us in a positive manner because we have seen during these 7 losses very few leads and very few quality basketball efforts and performances from the Mountaineers. But tonight, things to take away like those first 2 quarters. Maybe they can build off them. Unfortunately, they just can't have second halves like they did if they want to win these games. Tonight's was quite disappointing. Caston, key player for the Saints, will add another point to his total from the line and have a chance to add another with just 16.8 on the clock. And he's able to make 105-86 now. Ball inbounded again, almost picked by Drummond. Elcock up the way, takes the spot up 3, does not crawl over the rim. Atencio comes down with it, and St. Clair are going to run it out as they know they've got the win. Drummond keeps it back in, although he gave it away with that pass, trying to keep it in bounds.
One more
and Bailey
shot.
Shoots it up off rim.
Close, actually. Now, a disappointing loss for the Mohawk Mountaineers, but St. Clair, great comeback.
And it's tough to say an 8th straight loss for the Mohawk Mountaineers, but as this one comes to an end at 105-86, the Mohawk Mountaineers' first couple quarters don't win you a full 4-quarter game. And I think Brian Jonker will have that message for his guys As for the Jimmy Parsons St. Clair Saints, they're moving up to 7-6. They now have a real solid opportunity at venturing into the OCAA playoffs. For everyone here today at the David Bray Athletics and Recreation Center, we want to say a big thank you for joining us for Mohawk Mountaineers basketball. We have highlights now to throw to you from today's game. For Christine Midgley, I'm Nick Birnie. For the cast and crew, did a great job on camera work. So long, everyone.
We will see you back on February 21st when your Mohawk Mountaineers take on Fanshawe.